consumers are feeling slightly less pressure at the pump these days. The average cost of gas at the pump fell a dime in the past 2 weeks, down to $4.27 per gallon. And here in Wisconsin, the average is $3.75 a gallon. Eau Claire County is reporting the cheapest gas at $3.60 a gallon, and Florence County is reporting the highest average at $3.97. Experts believe one reason for the drop could be that higher prices reduced demand during the second half of March. Experts say the drop will likely be followed by more declines at the pump, but may not signify a long-term decline because the global oil supply is tight and can be expected to continue that way. President Biden announced new restrictions on homemade guns, also known as ghost guns. The president, along with Vice President Harris, made remarks in the Rose Garden. The president said these so-called ghost guns do not have serial numbers, which makes it harder for law enforcement to track down the people who purchased them. They're being found at more and more crime scenes, and it's nearly impossible to trace the weapons. President Biden announced the finalization of a rule that would require the makers of gun kits to require a serial number. He's also requiring sellers of ghost gun kits to follow the same rules as with other guns, including a background check. The president is also calling on Congress to start working on common sense gun regulation and has set initiatives in motion to help put a stop to illegal gun sales. President Biden also announced that he would be nominating former U.S. Attorney Steve Dettelbach to serve as the head of the ATF. The devastation in Ukraine is expected to worsen as the war enters a new phase. Ukraine's president claims tens of thousands of people were likely killed in Mariupol, though that number cannot be verified. Amid the violence, there are mounting reports of crimes committed against the most vulnerable groups. NBC's Bree Jackson has more.
Russia ramping up a new offensive in eastern Ukraine. An already devastating situation expected to get worse now that a general nicknamed the Butcher of Syria is in charge.
This has already been a brutal campaign in Ukraine, and we can expect to see more of it.
There are fears of new attacks like the one at this Ukrainian train station that targeted civilians, including children trying to flee the region.
Over 90% of the 4 million that have already left the country are women and children. And out of the 7 million that are displaced in Ukraine, the vast majority are also women and children.
Of women and girls.
The UN is investigating reports of violence against women.
Women in Ukraine are at increased risk for gender-based violence, including rape, sexual assault, and sexual exploitation.
President Zelensky making urgent pleas for more firepower from the West, warning of a dangerous new chapter of war. During a virtual meeting with President Biden, India's prime minister condemned the killing of innocent civilians. The administration urged India not to increase its reliance on Russian gas and oil.
They should use that leverage constructively to help bring this conflict to an end. It is undeniable that India has a relationship with Russia that we don't have.
Hope for diplomacy still on the table as talks between Russia and Ukraine continue. In Washington, Bree Jackson for NBC News.